You are seeing professionalism at its finest. Who hurt you as a child, man? Who hurt you?
Yeah, children too. You're way too happy. Go back to bed.
And this is your warning right now. Game of Thrones spoiler.
If the water started flowing off the building...
Hey, let's just see if this works. It's going to be rad, bro.
It's time for the Geek Missile Podcast, broadcasting from somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. Now, here are your hosts, Randy and Adam.
Outstanding. Welcome back to another great edition of the Geek Missile Podcast.
Geek Missile Podcast.
I'm Randy Howell.
And I am Adam Dieringer.
And we are the Geek Missile
Podcast.
Podcast guys. Welcome to another great edition. We thank you for taking the time to listen to us.
You had plenty of other things you could be doing.
Yeah, you could be out mowing the yard.
Eating a sandwich.
Or enjoying a awesome surf and turf pizza from the guys from the Pizza Pipeline.
And let me tell you, it is fantastic.
They were nice enough to supply us with one of those pizzas this morning, and we enjoyed it. I am going to recommend it to anybody. It's got shrimp and beef. So if you're a vegetarian...
stay away from it, but I mean, maybe break the coven, have some shrimp and beef.
Yeah, try it.
It was,
Worst case scenario, you like it.
Worst case scenario, you can drop it off at our studio at 24 Fake Street. We will be glad to eat the rest of the pizza for you.
Yes, absolutely delicious. So we started off our podcast with our sponsor, pizzapipeline.com. So 20% off your online orders. Guys, ask for it by name, Surf and Turf Pizza. Wonderful. It's got the zesty edge crust on it, shrimp. It's got beef, red peppers.
Potatoes too, yeah.
It was delicious. Absolutely. So, well, I guess we got our advertisement out of the way right up front.
Hey, there we go. That way you guys can listen to some ad-free listening for a little while longer.
Yes, there you go. Until the next ad. In which case, after that ad-free listening.
Again.
We got
no membership.
We've got an awesome show. We're going to talk a little bit about D&D, digital versus paper. We got, what do we have on deck here? We are going to ruin the finale of Game of Thrones. So if you have not watched it...
We're going to hear my cherry get popped live because I have not been able to watch this show at all this season. I've watched all the way up to it and haven't heard the rest, so we're going to get a quick recap so I can gasp at what everyone's been upset about this last couple of weeks.
Adam wants to know what happens in the end, so I told him I would tell him, but only during the podcast. What else do we have?
We also have on deck, I'm going to guide you through the steps, a very quick flow chart of what kind of class you'd be playing in Dungeons & Dragons. Which one would tickle your fancy most based on a couple of questions.
We do like tickled fancies in here. BK, what does that say?
Impossible Whopper.
Impossible Whopper.
Yeah, they made this meatless kind of vegan-y patty that everyone who's tried it so far, a lot of people have tried it, can't tell the difference between a regular burger. Unfortunately, in Brooklyn, it was so good and tasted so much like a burger, it turns out it actually was a burger, and they did not use the Impossible patties, and people are a little upset.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, poor vegans and their first beef farts.
Yeah. Gotta love that.
And then the reason I have drank so much energy drinks today and so much soda is because I stayed up playing a game called Plague Tale, which is basically a game based on the Black Plague in France, which I'll touch more on later too.
Perfect. And then we got circus elephants.
Yeah, we will talk about the elephants and why I'm not a big fan of circuses anymore.
Sounds great. I love elephants and stuff like that. So.
Aside from that, we got. I'm going to ask you some pop culture trivia at the end of this and test your knowledge near the end of it, and then we're going to talk about something that scares me beyond all belief and reason: the infinity pool coming to the Londons in the UK's.
The Londons
in the UK's.
Are they Londonites?
Londonarians.
Londonians.
Londagorians.
How long can we do this for?
bunch of people who don't appreciate we tried to make the biggest tea in the world in their bay. Official bagging of tea.
The first official teabag party. That was it. Okay. Wait, we're feeding back. I got
crap.
it. I fixed it.
Okay.
What do we got? So D&D. The website I went to was dndwizards.com.
Yep, that's the official Wizards site for it, and they're fantastic.
They are cool.
Yeah, they're a good source of everything for people who are just starting or who want to. You can go there and read about the basically continent of Faerun and the deities and monsters and things like that. Like, they got a bunch of different articles to help people get their feet wet who don't know anything.
Right. There's a lot of story stuff that's in here too, and then I read about characters. So they talked about choosing your character. Do you want a fighter? Do you want an elf? Do you want a healer? So really kind of think about who your character is. Is it an extension of yourself? Is it your alter ego? Who is it? You know, if you're timid and shy, but you really want to be this warrior, then, you know, just think about who you want to be and why.
I always tell people I dungeon master a lot of different games, 2 currently right now. And I always tell people, live inside your character, which is actually a quote from somebody who was teasing about World of Warcraft. But it really is, when it comes to playing Dungeons & Dragons, fitting yourself inside your character. It's not what would I do, it's what would the character you put in this world do. You know, maybe you wouldn't go and hit a troll in the kneecaps with your club, but, you know, your fighter might.
Yeah, he might. I would. I mean, as a human, I would. In fact, I just did one yesterday. I saw an elf walking down the street and popped him right in the knee. Said, ha ha ha, there you go.
Last day, as I was putting my alchemical potions together to make a health potion, I was like, you know, told the dwarf sitting over there, hey, hand over your flagon, I got stuff to do.
That's it. Yep. So, but you can be a halfling, an elf, a human, a dwarf, a gnome, half orc. It's just a lot of stuff. So you can also pick your class, you know, so think about that too, you know, if you have a class.
Oh, yeah, and when you're thinking of your class, you know, a lot of people think of the... maybe you want to cast spells like a wizard. Maybe you'd like to sing songs to inspire your allies, or maybe you just want to beat somebody's face as a barbarian.
Yeah. Yep. So there's a lot. dndwizards.com. Place is great. I think I'm going to get more into it. So our next podcast will probably have, you know, more insight into doing this. A lot of different things you can download too. So, you know, different...
like blanket generic maps for if you don't want to have to draw out a map. I know for me, having to draw out a map ahead of time, I always people going, what's that? I'm like, it's a ballista. Yeah, well, it looks like a pickaxe on a circle. Well, shut up.
Yeah.
I can't draw that well.
They can't. That's fine. But, yeah, so I wanted to give these guys a shout-out. The dnd.wizards.com. Great website if you're getting into D&D, if you want to learn more about it before you, or maybe your kids... are getting into it or something like that. You want to know more about it, so it's pretty cool. I recommend people get into that website and take a look at it. It's really pretty cool, man. And I know my grandkids are really into the Pokemon now, and so my daughter and her husband, they also like what's the Pokemon?
Pokemon Go.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. And so,
you know, that always worries me. I'm glad that they did well to like not have Pokemon like pop up in the street so kids would get close enough to throw a Pokeball in the middle of the street. Like some smart programmers there, because you know that would have been a terrible. You know, kids don't look at all like, oh look, a rat Pokemon. Woohoo! Ratatata.
Ratatouille. What?
Right, it sounds almost like Ratatouille. They all the stuff they named for a long time was almost like just additions to the American word, like ratata. Rat. I'm like, come on, we knew Japan had rats. This isn't something that they didn't have before. But
should we send over a Pied Piper?
Right. You know, as long as it doesn't have the plague, which we'll circle back to. Okay. Oh man. Well, okay, so that's another. I have to swing back on that too because so I took Japanese and the word for door in Japan is doa.
Doa.
And I'm like, they had doas. I know they had doas. They might have been rice sliding doas, but there were doas around. They didn't need to wait for our door to say. Did they just? It's a thing. It opens. It's how you get into houses.
It's a freaking door.
What do you?
It's a
what
door.
Do you call it? It's a door. Door.
It's a New
Door.
Yorker. That's what it is. It's a New York Jewish word for door. It's a door.
It's a door. Just use it.
It opens, it closes, it does everything. It's a door.
It keeps people out or it doesn't if they open it.
You are seeing professionalism at its finest today, folks. You got it.
Well, we always try to make it a point of pride to how professional we are.
Well, very professional. It says so in our outro. It was almost professional.
I mean, as long as we stick by almost, we're good.
Hey, speaking of almost professional, let's talk about all those professionals in New York giving out real beef patties to vegans. Now, this has always been a dream of mine, is to have a vegan eat meat.
It's one of those things where my sister tried it for a while and I had to hear about her forever. Although it was funny because she's like, I'm vegan. I don't eat. She's like, I don't eat meat. And I'm like, you're eating a fish sandwich. She's like, fish isn't meat. I'm like, yes, it is.
Pick your battles, man. Pick your battles. Just let it go. Let them grab their leather jackets and storm out the door because they don't eat meat. Whatever.
Yeah. So BK rolled out this Impossible Whopper, and I've seen a lot of commercials and things like that. And then apparently like live testimonies and people who have talked about it saying that they can't tell the difference between this and a regular beef patty. Even the people like myself who are actually carnivores and eat plenty of beef as it is. But I guess people were going to this one store in Brooklyn, and they were getting these Impossible Whoppers, and little did they know they were actually eating beef. And
I love that. I love that. So do you think it was done maliciously, like they on purpose, or was it like somebody just not getting it, they couldn't figure it out?
I think my best guess is I think it was management, where like I worked in at a Star restaurant that serves burgers, and so I had my boss one time in Missouri tell me, she's like, well, all we have is decaf coffee, so just serve that and put it in the regular pot. No one will know the difference. And I'm like, I hope no trucker like drove down the road and fell asleep using decaf coffee.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like sometimes the management had to know that there wasn't like, man, we haven't sold any of these Impossible Whopper patties if they had them.
You would think they would know that. Well, they could have rang them up as an Impossible and sent out a beefy one. And maybe they just weren't labeled. Who knows? I just wish I wish I knew more about that. That's crazy.
So the patties are so convincing that even looking at them, you couldn't tell the difference. Oh, crap. They came in the same type of box. We didn't even color them differently.
They look, right. It just says Whopper patties on it.
Just bad preparation from the people at the factory. Oh, wait, we were supposed to mark those differently?
Oh, well, no harm, no foul. That's funny, though. That is funny. I wish we could interview one of those people.
Well, I can tell you, like, for me, I've switched diets so many times, as we've touched on before. I've gone where I mostly ate vegetables and, like, had, like, a meat maybe once in every couple of days or so kind of almost vegetarian.
Right.
And I can tell you there is a huge difference in your digestion.
Oh, yeah.
When you finally get some meat in your system again. And I can only imagine, like, the terrible experience they had afterwards when they...
Yeah, if you don't eat processed meats and then all of a sudden you're chomping down... Yeah, you probably...
Spend some time, grab a book or your phone anymore. Nobody uses books in the bathroom. That was my thing growing up before phones, was I'd sneak books into the bathroom. My mom started, like, patting me down to find books before.
There was a time before phones?
Right? It sounds like the land before time at this point.
The time before phones.
Oh, man.
Hey, what do you want to do?
Wait, how do we figure out what to eat tonight? I guess we just try to think of things we know or buy. We don't ask something.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife does that. She'll say... she'll read something and she'll go, I wonder if this is true, that blah, 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 blah. And I always tell her, I don't know. I wish there was a device out there that we could just talk to it and ask it, and it would tell us. If we could invent something like that, we'd be rich. And then she goes, you're such a smart ass.
Well, it's funny because talking like that, like even 10 years ago, before phones hit that hike where they were actually okay, people were like, hold on, let me grab my encyclopedia. Perhaps we can find an answer to this. Poor, I think it's Dexter, or God, Webster. Poor Webster, they were like, stupid Wikipedia, putting everything that we know in the same place and easily clickable.
Well, the encyclopedias were great, I remember, but my friends, so intelligent as they were, borrowed a book and never brought it back, so I could never find the L's or the Z's, or drove me nuts.
Grew up your whole life just going, I don't know anything about Lambs, Lotka, or Larry the Cable Guy.
That's it. Yeah, I was dumb back then, just because my friends would borrow those books and I never got a chance to read up on it. All right, we're done with Whoppers.
Yeah, I think we've moved.
But I can just imagine, though, an interview with one of those guys. Didn't you know that you were serving the beef patties when they were supposed to be? Well, what the hell, huh? I mean, I can just hear them. No, they all look the same. What? It's fine. Don't worry about it, eh? Don't worry. Just eat it. You'll love it.
Come on, they say you're not supposed to be able to tell the difference. What does it matter?
So what? How do you know, huh? What's the difference? It tastes great. Don't worry about it.
Just put some more mustard on it. You got a problem. It's mustard or ketchup. That's all you need.
That's all you need. What are you worried about? Come on. It's a Whopper.
Oh, man, the management. I think talking to management after that, too, would be like, come on, what'd you want me to do? I didn't get any of the Whopper meat. I didn't want to tell people I didn't have it. I look like a dope.
Forget about it.
Speaking of mishandled meats,
yes.
My girlfriend was like, hey, we should go to the circus. And I've been disappointed in circuses most recently because everywhere has stopped using elephants and basically animals of all kind.
Elephants, yep.
Like, I heard for good reason. Like, if people are, beating up animals or doing whatever to get them to do tricks, well, you're an asshole, and that's terrible. I hate to think, though, that every single circus, the only way they can make animals do tricks, like, dogs will do trick for, like, a piece of beef jerky or, like whatever's on your plate.
Right. I mean, I don't understand it myself. Why do you have to be mean to them? Or maybe they just don't want to, or maybe it's a fear training, they train with fear?
I guess so. I guess they found the most effective ways to, like, hurt the animals or beat them up or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's Yiddish.
Yeah.
If somebody's doing that to a dog or anything like that. So for that reason, if no one can do it without beating them up, I guess we have to go without animals. But that sucks because that was my favorite thing, was watching these huge animals just walk and stomp around.
Yeah, the elephants are cool. I know a friend of mine that supports an elephant refuge in Africa.
Oh, that's super cool.
Very big elephant lover. I don't know how you'd say it. Just protect the elephants kind of guy. But
he doesn't want to have sex with them. He just wants to keep them safe.
Right. That's all I'm saying. That's it. But I mean, he's tall, but still, it wouldn't work. but yeah, it's and they're intelligent and they're great creatures and they're awesome. So if their people are being mean to them, then we should spank them.
Right. Hit them with put them on one of their tusks. They got two. We could take care of two people at one, and the elephants could get their revenge with their tusks.
Yep. And then the elephants, have you seen the footage of them getting crazy and they stomp on people and they...
I've never actually seen an elephant stomping, though I did read that people used to execute people that way.
Really?
Yeah, apparently in some countries they would have an elephant they'd be like, step on it like a melon, and just plonk.
I did not know that. Well, let me introduce you to this. This will open your eyes. There's a website I want you to go to called youtube.com.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah, and you type in elephant rampage or something like that, and it'll show you where trained elephants will go crazy and rampage and push cars around and stomp on people and maybe mangle a trainer or something like that. Lots of footage on that. They're good creatures. They're nice, but they sometimes will spaz out too. Yeah,
I mean, any animal, eventually you push them too far. It's like when you pull the dog's tail or the cat's tail or whatever, and
eventually it's going to turn around and claw you.
My point is now that all I got to look forward with circuses is I've got like peanuts and whatever food they have that they charge double for, and I don't like clowns. Like, that's my thing. Like, I was good with most of the other things, acrobats, lion tamers that also won't be there anymore, like a bunch of the other stuff. But man, as soon as the clowns come out, man, I'm not there. That's not me.
You're afraid of clowns?
They're just uncomfortable. I was good with the Joker. He was a serious enough clown that I kind of moved with it, but the ones that are overly peppy and happy, I'm like, don't touch me.
Oh, wow. That's weird.
It is. I don't know if if I'd call it a fear or an anxiety, or it's not really like I wouldn't like
a clown phobia.
Almost. But not It. I can watch the It movies, no problem. It's just clowns in person that are just there. I'm just like, you're too happy. Maybe your happiness hurts me inside.
Who hurt you as a child, man? Who hurt you?
Yeah, children too. You're way too happy. Go back to bed.
Jeez. Well, it's a much different world now, so I don't. Elephants are gone. The lions are gone. Tigers. Oh my.
What about dragons? Are they still around?
Yeah. Speaking of that, there's one that I know of still around.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then please do tell, because I've been waiting to catch up on this juicy news. Like, the quickest synopsis or summary that we can come to. And I'll ask you some questions, because I got to figure this out. What happened in this last season of Game of Thrones? And this is where I want to tell everybody, this is a spoiler. Spoilers are coming.
It's coming.
And they will be here, and we will mark it in the podcast. But right now, if you keep going, you will hear spoilers, and I'm going to hear them too, so you'll be in the same boat with me. But if you don't want to hear them, dive out now.
Yep, and this is your warning right now. Game of Thrones spoiler. All right, so you wanted it, you got it. Here comes your spoiler now. There's a lot that happened in the end, okay? A lot of people were upset of the way it ended, which is fine.
Now, would you call that bad writing? Like the writing style was lazy, or was it just people didn't want it that way? Like, you have a favorite horse, I mean.
Right. So you've got a family or a character that you felt should end their career this way. Okay? But it may not have happened the way you wanted. You also had people that you did not like, and you felt like this is how their end should be. So it was so here's what happened.
All right.
The blonde lady, what's her name?
Are we talking the nice one, or the one that
the dragon lady
romantics with her brother? Daenerys. So she's pissed, right? She sees what they cut that one lady's head off. Ooh, who did they cut their head off?
Her buddy, her handmaiden, or whatever they call that.
Oh, they shouldn't.
Right. So she was captured as they were going to the city, and they put her up on a wall. And there was, I wish I could remember everyone's names. I'm drawing blanks.
Yeah, her ambassador, translator. She was super nice.
She's super cool, and she had a relationship with the head of the Unsullied.
Oh, yeah, Grey Worm.
Or Steve Unsullied, or whatever. Yeah, Grey Worm. But they went and captured her, put her on the wall, and then who's the mean queen lady?
Oh God. Now I'm Cersei. Seriously?
So she is like, hey, throw down your swords and go away, or I'm going to whack her head off. And they said, no, we're going to talk to you. We're going to hopefully get some resolution. And she said, no, F off, everybody, whack the girl's head off. Right?
She did it herself, or did she have her buddy? Her big buddy.
Yeah, her big purple buddy.
Yeah, I wondered about him.
Her big purple helmeted buddy. So that's it. Game on.
Medieval Thanos.
Right. That was pretty much it. So that started what's about to happen. So she goes in and she dragons the city. She killed all the innocent people in there, all that stuff. Right.
So she just lost her.
Well, I mean, that's her heritage.
Yeah.
Daughter of the Mad King.
Yeah.
So, is she fulfilling her destiny? What was the reason for that? And so,
I mean, to be fair, for me, if my best friend, because I would say that was probably her best friend, like best,
yeah, it was her
ride
pal.
Or die shit, like,
right.
What do you do? If somebody did that to me and I had a dragon at my disposal, I'd be pretty indiscriminate about my anger as well.
So there's people that feel like she was supposed to be nice to all these people and not hurt the innocent people and all that. There she goes. She wipes them all out. Men, women, children, right? Wipes everybody out. And then goes in and starts wiping out, the city itself and all of that. But Jon is like, bro, what are you doing? You're taking out everyone. What's
left to rule? Yeah, if you burn it all to ashes.
This ain't rad. This ain't the chick that,
This ain't groovy, man. He flips his hair.
Yeah. This ain't the chick I'm banging. Sister, aunt, lover, wife, whatever. So then Grey Worm, he's kind of did some eye contact with Grey Worm. He's like, bro, let's just throw down our swords. This ain't right, And Grey Worm's like, no, dude, follow what she says, regardless, no emotion. And she does, and he goes killing people, and it gets going pretty good. So,
and that was his girlfriend too. So like, he had like double stakes in it. Like one, it's his, he
was pretty upset.
Person who gave him freedom, and the person who rules, has command of him, and his girlfriend got murdered by these people. So I can see his motivation to not let up.
Right. So he was pretty upset about that. Then, So that all happens. Then Cersei meets up with Jaime Lannister, and they go downstairs. Wow. So they go downstairs and they hang out, and they're like, under the castle, but the castle collapses on them.
Oh.
And kills them.
I assume from the dragon fire. Structural integrity.
Correct.
Not built for dragons. The architects didn't see it coming.
No, they didn't. How do you build for that anyway? So that's how they die. And then here comes a lot of the twist of what's so some people already feel like at the end she didn't die the way I felt she should have died. I think what's her name? Ariel? Princess Ariel? What's the Arion?
Arya?
Arya. I think she should have killed her.
That's true. She was on the list. I'm surprised that they took that away from... I mean, narratively, that was taken away from her.
It was taken away from her, but I think she went there to go do that. And I think she had that was going to happen. And it led you to think it was going to happen. Right? But she didn't. It collapsed it on her, and that's how she died. Okay? So then we start looking at... who's the brother? The Hound.
Yeah.
So the Hound and his brother... They went head to head.
Oh, they finally duked it.
Yeah, they duked it out. They both, after a long, pretty gory battle, both fall off of the castle and die together.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
That's kind of big off the wall.
Okay, so that's the end of that, right? So Jon Snow and Dragon Lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Jon Snow and Daenerys, all right.
So their fighting's over. Everything's done. And he's kind of talking with her in the throne room. Oh, yeah, in the throne room. So he's like, yo, bro, you killed all these innocent people. You're a dick. And she tries to explain to him, this is why I did it. This is what the happenings is. Right? So he goes and kisses her, gives her a hug, and stabs her in the heart.
I was wondering about that. I was going to say that after that, if his tendencies wouldn't,
Right. So he killed her. Then the dragon comes in and sits there because there's a big hole in the wall. Dragon-sized hole. And the dragon's like, I know you just killed her, bro. That's not cool. I'm the dragon. Now I'm going to be upset. You killed my mom. So he fires the throne and melts it. Melts the throne as if to say all this happened because of that chair, that throne, right?
Interesting.
So he melts
the whole
that
thing down.
Yep, he melts the throne so it's gone, and then picks her up, her body, and flies away. And for those of you at home, I made a claw with my hand and shook it like she was flying away. So
it helped me visually, so you should hear it. You should know that.
Yeah, so it was wonderful. So flies away. Then at the end, they have these people that ruled these kingdoms. They all came together to discuss. Well, she was the queen, right? You killed her. Now we got to figure out what to do with you because you're kind of a dick for killing our queen. We went through all this so you can kill her. Not awesome, not cool, but we got to figure it out. So they had to find somebody to take her place. Who do you think it was?
I guess Tyrion would be the best person in line because he was her advisor.
Okay.
That was the only person I could think of who would. I mean, in her line, like in her party,
in her world, right?
If it wasn't from her party and they were choosing like who had more rights to it as a bloodline, maybe.
So they got together and said, "Hey, what about Bran? This guy can see the future. He can, who else better to do this?"
He's used to sitting low on anything anyway, so the melted chair doesn't mean much to him.
Jeez. No cripple jokes, dude.
I know. I'm sorry.
Okay. So Bran ends up getting it, but they're like, we still got to punish Jon for what he did. So he has to go up north, and he has to watch the wall, I guess, and he can't take a wife forever.
Oh, so he's grounded again.
Yeah.
He's back to square one.
Right. And that's how that ended. So that's why everybody was upset. Like, wait a minute, Jon was the hero. Why would you put him away like that and make him, he was this good guy with a good heart. Now you make him sit up north by himself. He can't have a girlfriend. He can't do anything. So he can't have kids. He can't, bad Jon.
I guess it was just because, dirty or not, the battle had been decided, and the ruler who was supposed to stand at the top of the world and be the queen was basically elected. I mean, like our own system, even if we had someone elected who we may not like, if somebody did something, unfortunately.
So all these rulers got together and democratically elected Bran. So a lot like what we have today. So that was that's how that ended, and then certain people went back to their places, and that was it. So it kind of left it wide open.
So survival count here, just pop quick survival. Did Tyrion make it, my little dwarf buddy?
He did.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay. I was hoping that, because I was like, I wouldn't even watch. If they made a future series, I wouldn't even watch it if he wasn't part of it.
Yeah, well, who knows if he's going to, but he did live.
Okay. Eunuch Varys, or Varric, I always get his name cuffed up. He's the bald guy.
So he betrayed Daenerys.
Oh, did he really? Oh, probably the Mad King thing. I think was this after the dragon?
Well, it was the brother-sister thing, or the aunt and nephew thing, or whatever. He said that he told about the Dragon Lady and Jon doing it and their bloodline, and he let somebody else know about it, which wrecked a bunch of stuff, which made it really hard for them in the future. So for his betrayal, he got killed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, man of the truth, spoke the truth a lot to people, and, well, wrong truth to share, I guess.
Well, he didn't have to.
No, he didn't have to, and it put him in the same boat as. It's funny because he gave that whole spiel to Ned in the beginning of the series about you gotta keep your nose clean and not say stuff like this, and that's
right.
what. So I guess there's some poetry in that in the end there.
Yep. So there is, and loose lips sink ships. And who else are you wondering about?
Arya.
Arya. So
did she kill more people on the list? Where did her season 8, season 8 bring her? What was her quick synopsis?
So her deal is she didn't get to kill the evil queen lady, which we still can't seem to remember her freaking name, but she packed up. She's like, all right, I'm good, I'm out of here, I'm going south, see ya. So she caught a boat and leaving. Did
she bring the blacksmith's son, or did she take off solo dolo?
I think she soloed.
Oh, wow.
If I remember correctly. We'll watch it again and see. But yeah, she took off on her own, and that was it.
Well, damn. Okay.
Yeah. So it was kind of like all right. So she went on a princess cruise. Great.
Well, I was really hoping to hear more. I was hoping my whole time I've been having my fingers crossed that they'd somehow. So her original river dancer, the guy whose name I always forget, like who taught her swords in the first place, I was always hoping somehow he'd come back and he wasn't actually dead, because I just loved his character so much. But it sounds like that never came.
I don't know.
Never came to
what
be.
Happened. No, but she did have sex with the blacksmith guy.
Yeah, there was some news about it. People were very like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. No nudity, but yeah, so they got to do it.
There you go. She got what she wanted, and then she skedaddled off on a cruise. That's good. I'm glad to hear most of the people I was invested in, except for Varys, were all had a happy ending. It seems.
Her ending was more happier than others, but
I was gonna say, yeah, because I mean, Daenerys obviously didn't have a good ending. I mean,
no, she did not. No, she did not have a good ending.
Oh, dude, I bet people were so pissed because a lot of people were on Team Daenerys, like that was their thing, and to have him pull that knife at the end there, I'm like, whoa.
Well, she convinced everyone that she's going to do this, and there's going to be some casualties, but we're going to have a free, and then she wipes everybody out. So it's kind of like, all right, so you just full on lied to everyone about how you're going to rule. So, you know what? To hell with you.
Must be in the blood. You became you became what you said you wouldn't be. Yep. So I guess that's probably where it happened.
She fulfilled her prophecy.
No, you know what? Writing aside, I understand people are upset about that, but you know what? As far as books go and things, sometimes that's the ending. It's not a happy world you're left with.
Right. Yeah, we don't always get a happy ending in life.
I was going to say, sometimes you go on a Disney Princess cruise, sometimes you get a knife in the heart. What do you do?
Yeah. So that's how that one ended. So I'm conflicted because there were characters that I thought should get their revenge. They should fulfill their destiny on their lists in the way that they wanted to. She still could have killed the evil queen lady and then got on a boat and left.
The dragons kind of beat her to it.
Yeah, kind of weird. But and Sansa.
Oh yeah, Sansa. Did she make it?
Yeah, she made it. She did all right. I think she's going to become an evil ruler eventually because she seems like
she's very prissy and faluty. She almost seems like mini Cersei, honestly, throughout the situation.
Yeah, I agree. There's some situations where she was raised that way, but I forgot she gets to rule someplace, under Bran. But you know how they're like sub-rulers.
Yeah. No, I think they'll probably do a sequel series, and we'll see if people actually watch it. But
so that's how that ends, and that's that was it. I mean, that's pretty much how it ends, and I don't know what to say.
Whatever time this is, mark it in the books so we know this is the timestamp to tell people you are safe to listen to the podcast again. No more spoilers will be said about Game of Thrones going forward, except that there was a nuclear bomb and everybody died.
That's it.
That's the only spoiler.
That concludes our spoiler for the Game of Thrones. All right. What's our next one?
All right. So the reason that I am so tired today.
Oh, yes.
So, as many people know, I am a nerd. I game a lot. And I saw this game that was about the Black Plague. And I was like, I want to check this out. It's about a little girl trying to keep her brother safe because the Inquisition at the time wants to find her brother. And, some terrible things happen at her home, and she's forced to run with her brother. But basically, the part that was the most exciting that wouldn't let me put this game down is the rats in this game are attracted to the dark, but they're scared of fire and sources of light. But when you're in the dark with no light source, they'll basically eat people alive. Like, they consume them like piranhas, because there's thousands of rats in these swarms. So you spend your whole time basically dodging from light source to light source, trying not to get eaten and making as much light as possible.
I want her to come back.
I'll carry you. Mommy is dead, Hugo. You'll never see her again. Go away! Hugo, no! Leave me alone.
Don't take too long.
This way. I hate you. It's for your own good, Hugo.
Sorry, I'm sick.
They've come back. Everything is all right.
Why did she keep resisting like that? Only our methods differ. We have the same goal. We both fight the plague.
Wow, that's cool. That's going to be a good game. Did you get that on PlayStation, or where are you playing it on?
I actually got it for the PlayStation. Yeah, I got it for the PlayStation 4. I bought a physical copy because I like to be able to share my games with people. And,
cool.
So when I'm done, they can play through it. So I look forward to lending this out so I can talk to other people about the story and how it ended and see how people thought about it. Because it's not made from one of these AAA studios that makes these big games like EA Games or Blizzard or a couple of these other companies you may hear of. It was a smaller studio that made it, and they did a phenomenal job for being a smaller studio.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, and the trailer looks awesome. I looked it up. That's what you just heard. But the trailer looks great.
I was going to say, highly recommend if you guys get the chance. Plague Tale, I think it says Plague Tale Innocence.
Okay.
It's a good game.
Maybe we'll go to our Twitter and we'll do a follow on that. That'll be cool. You know what? Something I forgot to mention. was I wanted to do a follow-up. I did not want to do a follow-up. It was my mistake. Sorry. So, Plague Tale. I'm going to definitely look for that. I think that's going to be a fun game to play. It sounds cool. I like it.
I was going to say,
and it kept you up all night.
I was going to say, yeah, I slept this many hours of sleep. I don't usually lose this much sleep unless it's, for something else. And, speaking of something else.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we went through the Game of Thrones thing, which we're totally past now. But I was thinking about different shows this week, and I knew you'd be the one to go to because you've got more Big Bang apparel and stuff in your house than I've ever seen.
Well, I do like the show.
I was going to say, and it's a good show. And I ended up watching the last episode on accident. I just was at my girlfriend's house and it played. So no spoilers there, but oops, I ended up watching that before I watched basically most of the show. But I remember this one particular scene in my head, and I was like, what the hell? Who is he talking to? And he was telling somebody that he was telling some girl that he met, and he was like, I imagine that you were a loaf of pumpernickel. And I was like, who the hell is he talking to?
Oh. He was talking to Summer Glau on a train. She was a Terminator in the movie. Now, I didn't see the movie, but I guess she was a Terminator. He was telling her about a dream that he had about her, and I think he was swinging her around, and her arms came off. They turned into salami or something. Something about salami, but she turned into a loaf of pumpernickel bread. Yes, that is what that is.
I was like, man, this sounds like the kind of thing, like, I try not to tell people. If I have a dream about you, I probably won't tell you about it because of this exact, like, situation that popped up. It's just...
You never want to start off a conversation with, hey, I had a dream about you.
Right? Just HR pops their head over the top of cubicles things. Where is this going?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you want to... So, that was cool, though. You tried to...
I tried to reverse engineer it. I couldn't for the life of me think of who it was. I was just like, I just knew it was... I knew the one guy, and I knew Pumpernickel, and I was like, okay, so I was going to hit you up when I saw you next. And
yep, that was it. So, that's the... And then he talks about the word Pumpernickel loosely translates to fart goblin in German. He also says that.
I mean, and who doesn't want to be known as a fart goblin? I mean, that's a sick title.
That's my middle name. Randy Fart Goblin. What's this about the infinity pool? I saw that.
All right, so I was just... Google tells me a wide variety of things.
Well, what did it tell you?
Well, essentially, what it was telling me was that there in the UK, there's a architectural group that's planning to make this pool that's a 360 pool. But they're not only doing it, the weird part is it's going to take up the entire rooftop.
Right.
And they spent a while trying to think of it, because first they were like, okay, let's use glass for the outside of this pool, and people can look out over the city with this, like, basically, like, I think looks like 6 to 8 feet of glass. But they were like, okay, glass won't work, so they're doing acrylic instead, which makes you feel a little bit better, just because acrylic doesn't seem to break that easily.
Right.
But the part that's really cool about it is they're planning to make it like a submarine lock. So, because they didn't want to put ladders on the outside of the building because that feels weird, and stairs on the outside of the building. They wanted to feel like you were going up into the pool.
So the ladder is going to come up through the bottom of the pool.
Yeah, and then they're going to do like an airlock system so people can go in and then emerge from the pool. My only design flaw I see maybe is that if people are stupid and like, oh, the stairs are lowering, and then put their hand in the lowering stairs, like that's my... And if they do that, that's their own damn fault. You shouldn't do that. But
so you got to imagine who's using that. Right, it's probably going to be wealthy people, and as we know, wealthy people just aren't stupid.
Oh yeah, I mean, otherwise they wouldn't hold on to their money.
Right,
obviously.
No, it's I saw a picture of that, and I read what you were saying about that and the ladder and how that was going to work and all that, and I think that is freaking fantastic. That is cool. It would be a fun pool to swim in.
It is for me, it's one of those things where, like, I would marvel at it, and man, maybe. I don't know. I feel like I'd be too freaked out from like, oh God, what if because if the glass, let's say the acrylic, worst case scenario, somehow the acrylic did happen to break. If the water started flowing off the building,
you're going with
acrylic,
it.
Everyone in that pool is going with it, unless there's like a bar somewhere to hold on to.
Well, how often does that happen?
I mean, we're going to find out if it happens.
Well, they've had infinity pools all over. They have zoos, aquariums. They have places where you can go down and look at the fish in the water. They have this technology. It's not anything new. It's not like, hey, let's just see if this works. It's, they've got it all taken care of. It's going to be rad, bro.
Touche. All right. You know what? If somebody wants to fund the Geek Missile podcast to go there, I will take a swim and record it in that pool.
You know what?
Me freaking out.
You're right. Visit us at anchor.fm anchor.fm/Geek Missile, and you'll see our page there. You can download, of course. You already go there and listen to the podcast anyway, so go there. You can support us. There's a button on there that allows you to support us. 99 cents a month or something?
99 cents a month, or we can drop our Patreon link. And if you guys want to donate the funds so we can go to these infinity pools and entertain you further, we will. We will take that sacrifice for you.
You know what, though? I didn't do a Patreon.
Oh, God, we don't have a Patreon yet.
No, we talked about it, but I never did it. I keep forgetting.
We're going to get one. It's okay. Hold on, guys. We'll get one.
I'll let you do it. I'll let you set it up.
I'll figure it out.
You'll be in charge of it. So, anchor.fm/Geek Missile. If you want to, just click the 99 cents. If it's worth $1 to you, do it. If it's not worth $1 to you, that's okay. Make it $5.
No pressure.
Make it $10.
I mean, you can go increments of hundreds if you want. No pressure.
I don't think there is any pressure. Yeah,
no.
Do that. But anyway, I'm excited.
Yeah, no, for me, like, pools have always been things, like, I like pools in general just because I don't like to swim in bodies of water I can't see the bottom of. Now I can see the bottom of the hotel through the pool.
Could.
So, I mean, I know where I'm going to go if the pool breaks. So
is it a glass
I
bottom pool?
Yeah, they want it to be able so people can look up through the bottom of it, up at the people swimming. They want everything to be viewable. My only concern I have about that is you get the preverts, some guy down there sitting on the floor just below it with his camera. But, what do you do?
I don't know.
Just watch for those people, I guess.
Well, let's do that. I think that wraps up our show, bro.
Yeah, I think this Geek Missile has successfully exploded, and I'm happy we did it.
I am too. Awesome. Folks, thanks for listening. Remember to visit our sponsors, geekmissile.com. You'll see the pizza pipeline on there. Best suspenders. We didn't mention today, but they're always a sponsor, and we'll apologize to them for not running the ad today, but we do have it. Please enjoy this podcast. Share it with your friends. Go to the Anchor website. You can find this everywhere. Stitcher. We're at Spotify.
Someday YouTube.
Someday. I gotta get that. That's me.
We'll eventually have cameras on us, but technical difficulties. The point is the audio is so crisp because of what Randy puts into it.
Well, it's because I dedicate my life to this podcast. That's why. But thanks to our sponsors. Thanks for our listeners. We appreciate all of you. Have a rock and roll night. We will talk to you later.
Good night.
This has been a Geek Missile production, and it was almost professional. We thank you for listening.